There once was a woman named Caitlin who was a sort of well-known YouTube influencer. She talked about sex and gave advice on relationships. Millions of people watched her content and hundreds of thousands of people subscribed to her channel. But she had a dirty little secret that she didn't want anyone to know. She was trapped in a sexless marriage. She could not figure out how to get her spouse to have sex with her on the regular. And this made her feel like a fraud, like an imposter, because who was she to help others when she couldn't even help herself? But then one day, while studying the art of vulnerability, which was hard because she has 4 planets in Scorpio, she thought, wait, perhaps I should tell my story so that others might benefit. Perhaps I should use my platform for more than just squirting and salad tossing, and instead open up and tell the people my actual thoughts on a contentious topic that I have much experience with. Does your spouse owe you sex? In case you didn't guess it, that story is about me. And this is my real opinion on a really sensitive and personally relevant subject. Yes, your spouse or partner does owe you sex, but you have to earn it. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how I used this controversial opinion and this questionable advice to turn around my own sexless marriage. But first, we need to understand what makes a marriage sexless to begin with. If you are having sex less than once per month, 12-ish times per year, your relationship is considered by most professionals to be sexless. You see, all sexless marriages and dead bedrooms have a root cause. That cause may be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, cultural, relational in nature, but understanding whatever the root cause of yours is vital to turning things around. How long it remains sexless is up to you and your partner to figure out together. So once you've identified the root cause of your sexlessness, and for us it was resentment, then you can go about addressing it. And in truth, both partners have to be engaged in this process. The partner who wants sex still needs to clean up their act, meet their own physical needs through conscious masturbation, and be willing to thoroughly listen to their partner's needs, even if, especially if, you don't think they're reasonable or valid. Treating your partner's needs and requests with care and dignity is how you become safe enough for them to have sex with. In addition, the partner who wants sex, who's putting their time and energy into maintaining sex in the relationship, must get creative and be willing to figure out what works for the other partner. In other words, what kinds of intimacy do they need from you? What do they need in order to feel safe and to feel sexy with you? Maybe they need long walks, full body massages. Maybe they need long conversations so that they know what's going on in your world on a daily basis. Try giving them what they desire and see if it helps things. If it doesn't, move on to the next thing. Chances are that your partner is doing their best to guess, but they might not really know what it is that they need. And pushing them to figure that out at a pace that is beyond their capacity isn't gonna help either. And if that doesn't work, or maybe it works at first, but it's not sustainable, then both partners need to get outside support. Figure out what the blockages are that get in the way of your sexual intimacy. Maybe it's difficult or traumatic memories. Maybe it's unfelt and unprocessed emotions, stuff that happened years ago that we've never really addressed. Maybe you're just totally on different pages. You're two ships passing in the night. One's available in the day and one's available in the afternoon, and everyone's got kids to deal with. Maybe the two of you have become best friends and it's actually really difficult for you or your partner to see the other as a sexual person. A therapist or a coach or someone who's outside of your relationship and trained to look in a supportive way can help you name and address whatever is in the way of your pleasurable sex life flourishing. Now seems like a good time to remind y'all of the erotic blueprints. I did a whole YouTube series on them. They were created by my mentor, Jaya. If you don't know your erotic blueprint and you're trying to have sex in a blueprint that doesn't work for your partner and doesn't work for you, of course you're gonna have a sexless relationship. Duh. Go watch that series after this, finish this video. Because we gotta talk about why I use the word owed. It's a strong word. You might be saying to yourself, Caitlin, does your husband really owe you sex? Like, you're a cute YouTuber. There's probably like 1,000 guys in the comments of every thirst trap that you post on Instagram. Link below. If your husband won't hit it, why can't you just find someone who will? The answer is I can, but I shouldn't have to. Because in our vows, we made promises to each other to have and to hold. And like many other folks, I believe that that phrase is actually in reference to physical intimacy, including sex. So when we made our relationship contract, even before we were married, sex was a part of the deal. It was baked in from day one because that's what makes a partnership, our romantic partnership, different than a friendship or a business partnership. Sex is a thing that a marriage contains, a partnership contains, that most of our other relationships don't. And for many of us, that's sacred. Sex, even boring maintenance sex, and the kind that you have without putting too much additional thought into it, like going through the motion sex, is vital to make most, not all, but most marriages work. Some people can live without it. Me, personally, I'm a sex coach, sex professional and sex expert. I can't. I'm in a relationship where both of us are young-ish, strong, physically capable. We're young enough. Sex is something that both of us are capable of and interested in. Now, if one or both of us were disabled, were chronically ill, was caretaking the other, it would be a different story and different circumstances. So with all that considered, am I entitled to sex from him? Well, actually, no, I'm not. No one is entitled to sex. If you learn nothing else today, no one is entitled to sex. Acting like you're entitled to sex is the biggest turnoff. So if you have been going to your spouse and telling her that you are entitled to sex, don't use that language, it's not sexy. You gotta earn sex from your spouse, and I mean that. Get coaching, go to therapy, hit the gym, start listening to and loving them unconditionally, and I mean that. In order to get my spouse to have sex with me, I had to become the spouse that he deserved. I had to become the spouse that he needed, and I need to show him that I could show the up for him before asking him to show up back for me. Then, only then, does the part about owing come in. Now, I do not think that my spouse or your friends with benefits or your girlfriend or whatever really actually owes you anything, including sex. Sorry, plot twist. Of course, every single person has the right to say no and should only say yes if they are actually freely able to give consent, like full yes consent, no threats, no coercion. But that said, I do think that partners and spouses have an obligation to work on having a mutually satisfying sex life together because it's part of the deal we make, because it releases feel-good hormones, because it reduces stress, because it feels good, because intimacy matters. And when intimacy is present, love naturally follows. Try being intimate with any other human being on earth. Like just doing an eye gazing exercise with a stranger, like 3 minutes of just looking someone in the eye, you're gonna fall in love. I guarantee. Love follows intimacy. And when love is present, safety follows. And when safety is present, turn on follows. It's simple, it's effective, it is important, and your need for it is valid. So does your spouse owe you sex? Well, not exactly. But what they do owe you is efforting to make sure that you have a great sex life. For some couples, that's gonna look like non-monogamy. For some couples, that's gonna look like outer course instead of intercourse. For some couples, that's gonna look like cuddling for months until they find their way back to a sexual experience together. What your spouse owes you is the effort that it takes to help you get your needs met, and you gotta do that work first. All right, well, that may have been the most intimate thing that I've ever shared on YouTube. Please be kind. I love you guys. Thank you for subscribing, and I will see you here next week. Bye.